The power of the mind. So where does healing come from? An interesting question. This is a very critical question, which we need to be able to answer if we're going to be able to develop a very successful healing program. If you're in a war, you need to know as much as you can about your opponent. Sickness and health can be considered like a war against the human body, as your original blueprint was not designed to be sick. Wholeness and health are your birthright. However, we are all born with less than perfect genetics. And for this reason, and for reasons we will discuss later, these often manifest as less than perfect health. That's the way the world is. So where does healing come from? When you get a cut on your hand, you do not have any conscious connection to the healing process. The best you can do is to clean the wound, put on a sticking plaster, and see what happens. However, this does not cause the wound to heal. When you think about the process of wound healing, it's totally miraculous. In any given wound, there are thousands, possibly tens or even hundreds of thousands of cells that have been badly damaged or even and very often killed. Those have no opportunity to heal themselves because they're dead. So how does the wound healing happen? To understand this, we can start with the concept of the supercomputer. Your body is effectively run by a massive supercomputer, running billions and billions and trillions of programs every second. You have around 70 trillion living cells, and they didn't all fall together by chance. They were put together by a supreme intelligence that guides your supercomputer to do the things that it does. This is a simple analogy, but it works very well. This is your divine design, and the divine design of every single person walking on this planet. We take this, of course, for granted. We don't think about it. But when you do think about it, it's truly remarkable. When you do think about it, you can come to no other conclusion, but that there has to be some sort of a creator who put all this together in such a remarkable way. It simply could not happen by chance. So the answer to the question, where does healing come from? And in order to answer that question, we need to understand how we are put together. Understanding this took me years. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you find this all a bit new or a bit hard to grasp and to accept. But I particularly struggled with the concept of the soul, what it was and how it worked out in our lives. But here's the thing. We are all individually made as a spirit with a soul living in a body. Your soul is your mind and your emotions, and the life force that gave you life at the moment of conception comes from the spirit. This life force energy is what it says what it is what it says it is. It gives you life. And the most people have very little bother accepting that when this leaves, and this might often be called the spirit, your physical body simply dies. Your soul is that part of you that you know as you. It's your thoughts and your feelings, and even your will. So the life force comes from the spiritual source and provides the supreme intelligence and the life force to heal your body. What is so interesting about this is that the life force energy that provides all this healing is filtered through your mind and your emotions. I have already mentioned this concept in the Subtle Anatomy of Man course, but it's worth looking at again because it's so critical and important for you when you consider the power of the mind and how thoughts and feelings and emotions affect our physical body, because they clearly do. So this is the process of how it actually happens. So the life force is relatively neutral. It doesn't necessarily have an opinion one way or the other. Its job is to provide life, energy, life force, which is the source of all healing and energy in every cell in your body. But when you look at this diagram, you see that this life force is filtered through the mental field, through our thoughts and our feelings. So logically, positive thoughts will create different patterns in the life force energy than negative thoughts. Remember, everything is energy. Albert Einstein stated this over 100 years ago, and when you look at his statement, you'll see a remarkable thing. He's basically saying that the things you focus on with your mind create frequencies and patterns from the life force energy that is sustaining you. If you passionately commit to a vision or a goal, then this creates a powerful frequency of energy that draws these visions and these goals to you. As Einstein said, this is not philosophy, this is physics. We need to think about this and the profound nature of what this is telling us. To some extent, it's basically saying we create our own reality by the things we think. The truth is that we do nothing without thinking. And people with big visions are the people who often are the most successful because they're harnessing their life force in a positive way. Does this make sense? If it does, then it behoves us all to be very careful about what we think. Because in a real sense, thoughts are things that create physical manifestations in this world. Bearing this profound information in mind, and realizing that these facts obey the laws of quantum physics, we can move on to the next question, which is how do we tap in to the healing process that we so desire to see manifest in our physical bodies? Logically, the answer has to be something to do with our thoughts and our mind.